Hello, hello. Happy live. It is almost Christmas in like 2.5 weeks. And it feels a bit more like Christmas because there's snow outside, but I am far from ready. I don't know about anybody else. I hope you are all doing amazing and well. I am going to do my normal today, which is doing real estate updates, answering your questions, and telling some happy news. If you guys want to ask any questions, hi Scotty. If you want to ask any questions, feel free to write them in the comments. Or if you're not that open, you can privately message them to me after, and I will answer them next week. Or if I have too many, I will answer some throughout the week, okay? Hi Melanie, hope you guys are amazing. So I'm going to start with the first question. So the first question is from Jen and Mark in Midhurst. So Jen and Mark said, I know not everyone likes a pool, let alone an above ground pool, but we really want to have one next summer for the kids. We plan on selling summer 2022. Do you think it's a bad idea to have one for resale? Thank you, Jen and Mark, for asking. To be honest, yeah, majority of people will not ask for a pool. There's the odd person that asks for a pool. And if they do want a pool, it's an in-ground pool. However, above ground pools are super easy to get rid of if somebody who doesn't want. So you could like have it in the private brokerage remarks when you sell, you know, that seller is willing to remove pool and put down new sod or new seed or what have you, or to credit the buyer $1,000 for seed or you know, that kind of thing. So I don't think it's a big deal. So I wouldn't worry about, you know, putting an above ground pool. It's really not a big deal. If your kids want to enjoy it and you think that that will, you know, decrease some stress in your life next summer, I would more than get a pool. But thank you for asking. Okay, so next we have, I'm like short forming it this week, okay? Because I have a meeting after. But so there's a Starbucks, not a Starbucks, but all the Starbucks in the States just started this as of this week. So hopefully it comes to Canada soon. But what they're doing is they're giving all, I don't know my coffee, so I have to say tall brewed, whatever that means, ice or hot coffee to all first responders for free for the entire month of December. So hopefully, again, that comes to Canada. And they're also giving how many million? 1 million to their Starbucks foundation, or they've given already 1 million. And that they have like PPE for it and medical supplies. And they've supported first responders. They have a, what's it called? A support line where healthcare workers and people can call in because normally people look to them for, you know, health questions and safety and whatever. And sometimes they have a lot of anxiety or maybe there's a lot on their shoulders. So Starbucks has opened this line for them. So they've donated over $1 million to that. And they're also giving 50,000 surprise care packages to frontline workers as well as 50,000 gift certificates. So that is something nice that Starbucks is doing. I'm going to do another question before I jump into the real estate statistics. Hi, Jill. How are you? Okay, so I have a question from Abby and Brent in Barrie. So let's see, Abby and Brent. We've started a small business during COVID, and we're getting a lot of pushback from friends and family and aren't sure where to draw the line of them trying to help us or pulling us down. Please help. Thank you, Abby and Brent, for asking. I mean, I take everything with a grain of salt, right? If you have, say, a hair studio and they know nothing about hair and they've never worked for themselves, and say, for example, they, you know, have a boss and they've been working in the same place 40 years and they don't know anything about it, obviously they're not going to know that much about it. But if they're trying to give you marketing advice and that's what they do for a living, or they've studied tons of that, or they're taking a course of that right now, then, I mean, obviously you can take that. Maybe you might have to limit some time with them. Maybe you're, you know, watching courses at night and they might have had a couple of good ideas and maybe you can take that and go in another direction. But yeah, you might have to distance them, yourself from them, because maybe, you know, they think, okay, she's better than us and she's this and she's that and we don't want to lose her. So subconsciously they're kind of pulling you down a little bit, even though they probably love you and want you to do amazing. Maybe they don't realize that they're doing that. So thank you for asking. Hi, Petra. Hope you and the girls are well. Okay, so that was Abby and Brent. So before I get into real estate, there's another thing. A little girl, she was in a car accident, and basically the firefighters saw that she had nail polish in her hands in the back of the SUV that she was in. So they started to ask her about the nail polish and ended up asking if they could get their nails painted. And so she painted them purple. She missed a lot of the nails and got a lot in the hand, but it calmed her down, and I just thought it was cute because I like cute stories and I don't like yucky stories and negative stories. So I thought that was cute. I have a question from Mandy in Collingwood. So Mandy wrote in, my husband and I have 2 rental properties in locations which have banned short-term rentals. Do you think it's better to fight the municipality to change it, or sell them, or rent long-term? Thank you, Mandy, for asking. I don't know if you mean in Collingwood. I know they have the 30-day one, there. So I don't know if that's specifically where you mean. I don't know anything, to be honest, about politics. So I don't know if there's any chance fighting it, if it's just an uphill battle and you'll never get anywhere, or if you will. So I can't really answer that part. As for if it was the 30-day thing or long-term, I would just see. So let's just say you put 5% down on the house, you don't have any equity in it, you just bought it like last year, and you say, okay, I put this $20,000 or whatever it was, and then if you put that $20,000 into somewhere else that's short-term rental, are you going to be returning, for example, 27% on average of your money over there, and over here you're only returning 4%? Like, you have to look and do your homework, so I can't give you that answer. I would guess that it's better short-term somewhere else, but I can't know without really knowing what market you're in, and obviously doing homework myself too. But thank you for asking. And like I said, I don't know the political side of it. I'm going to guess that's a lot harder to change than just buying elsewhere. But I don't know officially. Hi, Dakota. Hi, Kathleen. Okay. So I had one more thing, I think, before real estate. So there's a good deed free grocery store. So it is in, let me see if I get the place right. If it was, I forget if it was Texas or Utah. I will look. I put in a new light today, and it's like shadowy. It's like a basket light. So probably not the best for lighting. It's in Sanger, Texas, and it's actually at a high school. So it's like a convenience store, but with groceries. And the students don't pay with, debit or Visa or cash or what have you. They pay with nice acts. So they could clean up the yard at the school, or they could tutor another kid, or they could help an elderly person or whatever. And basically the school is giving them points for things that they do, and then they can buy groceries for their families, which I just thought was nice. The principal said it teaches kindness and it helps the school's morale, which obviously I've never heard of a free grocery store, let alone at high school. So I thought that was cute. So real estate wise, okay, so one more thing before real estate. I lied. Our December giveaway. Hi, Amy. I saw it's conditionally sold. Congrats. I actually had a client I was going to bring through, but it was conditionally sold, so we couldn't go. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the giveaway. So our December giveaway is not like our regular giveaway where we go and knock on the door on the 1st of the month. So the deadline is this Sunday, which is the 13th. And then the next Sunday, which is the 20th, is when we're going to knock on multiple families' doors. So by this Sunday, if you know of anybody that you think is in need or having a rough year, you can email us at info@crippshomes.com. Again, info@crippshomes.com. You don't have to have any relation to Cripps Homes. You just have to, or you don't even have to, the person has to live in Simcoe County. You could live in Russia for all I care, but the person has to live in Simcoe County, or the family that you're nominating, and we won't ever tell their personal information on December 20th when we knock on their door to the public of why we picked them. So you don't have to worry about their private information being told, okay? But we're going to give them Christmas dinners and presents on December 20th. So now I'm getting into real estate. I don't know if you guys know, like, the top city in Canada, like what city had the most new builds. Was it Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Edmonton, Ottawa, etc.? It was Toronto. So there was just over 30,000 new builds started in 2020, and over 23,000 of those finished. Second was Montreal, and just over 19,000 were started, and 17,000 and change were finished. Vancouver was a bit different, so they had over 16,000 started and over 18,000 finished, so more were finished than started because some were still from 2019 that weren't completed yet, so they had a lot. And obviously, besides like the lull of February, March, April, the rest of this year has skyrocketed. And if you're curious, the fourth city that had the most builds was Edmonton. 5th was where I went to high school, which was Hamilton. And 6th was Saskatoon. And 7th was Winnipeg. So they are proposing a vacant home tax in Toronto. And next Wednesday and Thursday is when they're going to go in front of the board. And basically it means if somebody owns a home in Toronto and they're not living in it or renting it out, they're going to get an extra 1% tax. Some people think this is good, and it'll help other people like get into the market because it'll maybe force those people to rent it out to somebody or to sell it or what have you. And other people think it's not the greatest idea, that will scare away investors and so forth, which, people selling their houses there, then there won't be as many people to buy. So it just depends who you ask. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the vacancy rates of homes in Toronto since COVID have more than tripled since March. And you know how I've talked about a bunch about like the amount of people that are buying in cottage country right now, Toronto people, Barrie people, Peterborough people, etc. People just getting out of the city, wanting to either have another property for themselves, for their family, or to rent, short-term rental or what have you. But another new trend we're seeing is a lot of people from the United States. So even though they can't cross the border by land, they could fly. But some of them are buying online. And like the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar is one of the reasons pushing that, as well as our low interest rates. So that's been another thing of a lot of people coming like to the Muskokas and different Great Lakes, etc., and even small lakes. So we've had a lot of people from the US lately. And they did a survey of people that had come from the States to Canada since March, and more than half of them said that they were considering real estate in Canada, which is crazy. Good, obviously, for people who already own in Canada, not so good for people who are trying to get into the market. On a random note, if you want a 12-unit resort, there is one just outside of Peterborough on 6.5 acres for sale right now, for $2.2 million. It just went up yesterday, and it has 5 3-bedroom houses and 7 2-bedroom houses, and it comes with 11 boats, just so you know, for $2.2 million. And obviously with the second wave of COVID, some people are asking, is the deferrals going up and what have you? But CMHC just released their numbers, and it was 8% at the end of September, the amount of people that had deferred their mortgages from CMHC, and now it's down to 5. So it's actually down the number of people that have deferred their mortgage, even though we're in the second wave. So I know a bunch of people had asked me about that this week. So that is your answer to that. And Ottawa also announced their $1 billion, Rapid Housing Initiative. And that's supposed to have 3,000 new, affordable homes between now and 2022, that the government is funding that $1 billion. Some of it's leased land, like mobile homes, and other is actual developments. So that's something that got announced between last time I talked to you guys about this kind of thing. And then they also released that the amount of jobs that were lost in the first 2 months, 76% of those people have got their jobs back, which is awesome. And although 2020 isn't completely over yet, basically it's kind of set in stone that it's going to be a record year, because 32% so far more homes have sold in Canada than they sold last year, which is crazy. Hi Mel, how are you? I hope you had a good time in Niagara at the spa. Hi Tiff. I want to hear about the spa, Mel. Okay, so in Ontario as a whole, not Canada, so Canada is the one that's up 32%, but in Ontario as a whole, so far this year, Ontario, our average house price is up 10.7%, and Calgary and Edmonton is up between Calgary is 1% and Edmonton 1.4%. Ottawa is up over 20%, and BC, 44.7% more homes have sold this year than 2019. And PEI is actually the only province that less homes have sold than last year out of all the provinces and territories. And then if we do locally, not just the rest of Canada, there's been 711 houses listed, sold. 711 homes sold in November total. So that was 22.6% more than 2019. The average sales price was $644,000, which is 25% more than 2019. And if we look at just Barrie, there was 240 homes that sold in November, which was up 17.6% over last year. And the average sales price was $588,000 and change. I don't say the change, which was 21.6% higher than November. I'm like, what month is this? Than November of last year. The condos, so 10.5% less condos sold in November 2020 than 2019. However, the average sales price was up 0.9%. And then if we look at Simcoe County, but not counting Barrie in November, there was 471 houses that sold, which was up 25.3% over last year. And the average sales price was $672,000 and change, which is up over 26%, 26.4% of last year. And then if we look, I'm sorry, I know it's a lot of numbers. If we look in all of Simcoe, so if we look at November 2019 versus November 2020. So in 2020, 23.4% more detached homes sold, and they sold for 26.9% more money. And when we look at semi-detached homes, so two homes together, 71.4% more sold in November of this year than last year, and they sold for 22.5% more than last year. For townhomes, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. homes together, 20.3% more homes sold this year, and they sold for 13.8% more dollars. And for condos, 16.3% more sold this November than last year, and they sold for 19.5% more money. Year to date, hi Alicia, come to sushi. Yay, sushi. Is that where you guys are? I'm jealous. Hi, Alicia. I've had cheese and crackers. That's not as good as sushi. I was there 2 days ago. Okay, so in year to date in Simcoe County, there's been 8,666 homes sold, which is 23.9% more than last year. And the average sales price is $593,000 and change, which is 17.1% more than last year. And Barrie alone, there's been 2,808 homes sold so far in 2020, which is 27.4% more than last year. The average sales price is just over $561,000, which is up 17.1%. Now all I can think about is sushi. And Barrie's condos year to date, so 19.8% more have sold, and they've sold for 9.5% more money, more dollars. And as of today, there is 483 homes for sale in Simcoe County. 392 of them are freehold, and the rest are condominiums or leasehold. So that is the real estate part. I'm going to go to a question from Craig in Aurelia. So Craig said, I really want to get into short-term rentals, but know there's so many buyers from Toronto that I would be potentially competing against. When is the best time to buy a vacation rental property? Thank you, Craig, for asking. So I don't know, obviously, because we've obviously never had this before, if Toronto buyers, they've all bought now, and now they're like, okay, we've all bought and we have our rentals or we have our cottages and now we're good. Or are they just going to continue for how long? I unfortunately don't know. So I can't say that. Like the US thing, that's been kind of more new. It wasn't like that in the beginning. There wasn't a lot of people from the States. So that I don't know. I mean, I don't look at all the people I'm against. I look at what my return is. So I look at, okay, how much am I spending out of pocket? How much is my minimum return a month? I don't want to go off the maximum because obviously that's not ideal, because what if you don't get the maximum? So I like to go off what my return is as opposed to who I'm against. Like, let's just say I bought something for $700,000 and the next month an identical one sells for $680,000. Does that hurt? Sure. Is that going to happen? It could, but it's not a very good chance of it. But if I'm making, 17% return or 22% return or whatever it is I'm making, then I'm like, well, I don't really care because I'm not planning on selling it right now anyway. So I'm making much better return, obviously, than I could get at a bank. So I look at it that way as opposed to when's the best time to buy. I look at, my cost and what I'll return. Hi, Shauna. I hope you're well and hope you're coming this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Okay, so thank you for asking that. That was Craig and Aurelia. So with obviously like 2020 being the most that people, have ever spent time at home, I'm sure you've noticed either people are either moving or they're renovating their house or what have you. So there's always been different surveys going on throughout COVID. So a recent one, if I could turn this page, which I'm having difficulties. There we go. This recent survey, it said basically a quarter of the people have either upgraded their kitchen or got at least one new appliance. Over 50% have gotten new home decor. 17% purchased new office home furniture. 66% said they were the happiest they've ever been in their house not year to date. I'm used to saying year to date because of real estate. The happiest they've ever been in their home ever is this year. 46% have bought a smart appliance since March 2020. More than a quarter have decluttered their house, and 28% have bought new artwork. Hi, Rodney. Rodney, I'm not sure if you were looking for the real estate, but I did the real estate numbers, so you could rewatch this. Even though it's live, it doesn't have to be watched live. We still have more questions real estate-wise, but I did all my stats already. Okay, so next, what do we have? We have Rob had a question in Innisfil. I want to nominate somebody for the Christmas giveaway, but I don't want it made public about them. They might feel embarrassed. Is this doable? Thank you, Rob, for asking. Unfortunately, we are not doing it private. We are showing it live when we give the presents, but we don't, say why they were picked or their family circumstances or anything like that. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Because lots of people tell us a lot of personal information about these families and we don't disclose that. Okay. So hopefully you, enter them. Again, it's at info@crippshomes.com, and the deadline is this Sunday, the 13th. And then the giveaway for the Christmas giveaways, which goes to multiple families, is December the 20th. Okay. But thank you for asking. So, so anybody who knows me, if Mel and Britt are still watching, that I love puppies. There was two guys that were on a boating trip off of Vancouver Island. They were going to surf and fish, and they saw a dog like kind of in a cave on an island that was deserted. And they went over, and there was no people there. And they ended up bringing the dog back to shore, and turns out the dog had been missing for over 3 months and went back to its rightful owner. So I just thought that was cute because I love puppies. So that's my random puppy story. Okay, so this question comes from Colleen and Barry. Do you think it's possible to sell now and not have a closing until May? Colleen, it is possible because it's a seller's market, so sellers are much more in the driver's seat. So oftentimes when there's multiple offers, people will put blank closing dates. So you could write November next year if you want. Obviously, will most buyers take that? Probably not. They're probably looking to move in the next 60 to 90 days. But there is the odd person. May is not super far away, but most people right now are more closing in February, March. And I'd say even more so March because people are like, oh, February, there's probably a lot of snow. So you could get away with that. But it just depends if you're, let's just say your house is worth $800,000 and you want to list it for $900 and you want that closing date. People are not going to bend over backwards for you to pay you too much money. So it just depends if you're looking reasonably at the whole thing, but the sellers are still in the driver's seat right now. So there's a much better chance right now than if it was a level market or a buyer's market. Okay. But thank you for asking. Who else do we have? Okay. So there was a fellow, I have to look up his name. I forget. I think it was Corey. Corey, was left his grandpa's car, when he passed. And Corey already had a car. This car had 100,000-ish kilometers on it. So instead of selling it, he put it online, free to a good home. And he ended up, substitute teacher, ended up getting it for free. And then some other people heard, that Corey was, donating basically this car when he could have sold it. So they put cash in the glove box So I just like when people do nice things and go out of their way to do nice things, as opposed to being all like money driven or ego driven or what have you. So I liked that story. Just a reminder for the December giveaway, which was one I was just talking about. Again, December 13th is the deadline. You can nominate whoever you like as long as they live in Simcoe County. Can be one person, can be a couple. They could have 20 children. They could have 2 children. They could have 0 children. It could be a grandma. It doesn't matter. If you think they're having maybe a rough go this year, we invite you to nominate them. And we're giving Christmas dinners and gifts to those people that win. And we don't have a set number of people who are going to win yet. It kind of depends how many nominations we get, okay? And then this is also random. I tend to be quite random. It said that there was a recent survey, people that drink more water are happier. So they basically asked a bunch of questions to people that drank 6 or more glasses a day, and then a bunch of people that drank less than a glass a day. So of the people that drank 6 or more glasses a day, 41% of them said they were very happy. And the people less than 1 glass a day, only 12% of them said they were very happy. And over 40% of the people that drank more than 6 glasses said they were optimistic. And just under 10% that drank less than 1 glass said they were optimistic. The people that drank more than 6 glasses a day checked off that they were more successful and less likely to be late to work. And I don't know, that's just the randomness about the water that I found about a survey. So anyways, reminder of the December giveaway. We're not going to do on January 1st. So this December one of these multiple families will take up that January 1st one. Then back to January, we will be normal. So February 1st, we'll knock on somebody's door for January, March 1st for February, and so forth. But again, feel free to nominate anybody you like for the Christmas giveaways. December 20th, we will be going live as we go to the doors of the people that have won. I don't know the exact time yet, but we will post all of that. I'm guessing around probably 10, 11, 12, 1, etc. I don't know. But anyways, that is that. Hi, Darren. I'm sorry. I'm all done. I'm leaving, but you can rewatch it. Even though it was live, it will stay on my Facebook. And there's lots of stats. All the numbers are good in the real estate world. Have an awesome night, guys.